Have you ever really wanted to do something or buy something, and the exact phrase that goes through your mind is, I really want to do this, but I really want to buy this, but. And 9 times out of 10, or 10 times out of 10, that but is filled with, I don't have time or I don't have the money. Most resistance for most people comes up in the form of time or money. And that's what we're going to talk about today is how to stop saying I want that but. Welcome back to the Messy Success Podcast. I'm your host, Elizabeth Henson, and this is a place where we are helping creative business owners build powerful communities around their brand so that business building and marketing is not only easy, but super profitable. If there's one thing in the world that I'll never get tired of talking about, it's business and self-development. It is truly my love language, and I'm so excited to be here with you today. So if you're new, make sure that you follow or subscribe. Find me on Instagram at elizabeth.henson. If you're new over here to the YouTube channel, please be sure that you follow along. We're still getting the hang of this. My podcast listeners, I really appreciate your patience as we're kind of switching over to this video first recording. Hopefully you're not feeling too many of the bumps, but we're getting there. We're getting there. So thank you guys so much for being here. So I've been working with my community members and my students a ton on their relationship with time. And this is really important. I feel like we have to master our relationship with time almost before anything else when it comes to building a business, especially if you are a busy mom or perhaps you have a day job, kids running around. If you feel like you have to build your business on a sliver of time, you have to master that relationship with time. And that's exactly why this was first for me, because when I first started doing all of this, I had very little kids and they were only in daycare from 9:30 to 1 every day, and I was driving them there. So that meant my workday was really only 10 to 12:30 with no kids. So we're talking 2.5 hours, 5 days a week that I had to build my business. And I had to truly master my relationship with time for that to be possible. And notice that I'm saying relationship with time, relationship with money. This is huge. And this is a big part of our self-development. And if you can notice that you're in the pattern of saying, I really want to do this, but just noticing the pattern is the first step to changing these relationships and learning to navigate them. So just having the awareness alone is going to change something or to create power, right? To instill more power in you. I just noticed that my light is visible on the video. Totally fine. We're going to roll with it. So just noticing that is super empowering. So if you leave today and you're actually not really feeling very different, but you're just going to start noticing when you say that, that is step number one. And that is amazing. So congratulations. You've made it that far. You're going to start noticing when you say things like, I want to do this, but I want to buy this, but, right? There's either a time or a money, or it might be an I need to talk to my spouse, whatever, fill in the blank. But that awareness is step one. So you're like, okay, Liz, great. Now I'm noticing it. What the hell am I supposed to say if I can't say that? Because that feels true. Okay. So the quality of our business, the quality of our life is really dependent on the quality of the questions that we will ask ourselves. So I laugh a lot because I'm like, I don't even really think in statements anymore. I think in questions. So if there's something that I want to buy, instead of saying, I want to get this, but I don't have the money, I'll say, okay, well, what do I need to do to create the money? Who do I need to become? What version of myself would have the money? What would she do? And I'm going through all the different things. And that doesn't mean that we discredit logic. Okay. It might be the fact that you literally don't have the money in your bank account. And if that's true, then great. Now we want to focus on how bad do I want this and what am I willing to do to get it? But a lot of times, it's not even that we don't have the money in our bank account. There's a fear there. There's a fear of spending the money, or there's a shame, like we feel like we shouldn't. And I see this all the time when I'm on sales calls and someone says, my only resistance is the money, or I don't want to do this with the money. I say, okay, great. We don't ever want someone to go into debt or to be in an uncomfortable situation because they joined our program. So if this is going to put you in a situation where you can't feed your family, then this isn't the program for you. And they'll go, oh, no, it's not that. My family is going to be fine. And then say, okay, great. So now let's really talk about the fear of what it is. And we can do the same thing with time, because our brain just wants to say, oh, I don't have time. When really it's like, how bad do you want it? How much time is it actually going to take? Because we usually have this distorted perspective of time. And what would the version of you who does have the time be doing differently? Or maybe it's just a matter of scheduling it out into the future. But do you see how now I've opened up all these other possibilities simply by thinking in the form of questions? If I did have the time, what would that look like? If I was going to make the time, what would that look like? So thinking in the form of questions, how can I create more time in my schedule? And I'm working on this so much with my students with the time piece. And then now my coach is offering a really incredible workshop on the money piece. And how I thought about the topic for this episode, because I was just doing the dishes and what was going through my mind was thinking about all the people that need this program that he's doing and how their resistance is either going to be time or money. And I'm like, that's so fascinating to me, because we're working on our relationship with time, and then everybody can improve their relationship with money. But most people aren't going to do it because they're going to be stuck in one of those two beliefs. And that's just it's so interesting to me. But it's a relationship with time and a relationship with money. Now, if it's something that you don't want, I'm not talking to you. Okay. So when you're walking through the mall and you walk past stores and shirts that you have no interest in, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about when you have a pull or a desire to want something or to do something, and you're talking yourself out of it. Okay. Now, if we want to take this into like a quantum physics level, I want you to understand that when we focus on lack, we're attracting more lack. So every time we say the phrase, but I don't have the time or I don't have the money, we're just creating more of that. And you guys know I always say momentum builds more momentum. So it's the simple shift of I'm going to focus on possibility, not circumstance. That's it. It doesn't mean you're actually going to take the action. We sit in this fear of like, oh my God, well, if I even entertain it, then I'm going to spend the money. But like, sit in the possibility of it and think about the version of you who has achieved all of her wildest dreams. What is she doing differently? Because if you already had those things, we wouldn't be having this discussion. So there's the future version of you who's doing things differently. And that's how it starts. Even with this podcast setup, that's how it started. So I'm like, well, there's a future version of me who is showing up on YouTube, who is showing up more on video. What do I need to do to just close the gap on the person that I am now and that person that I see myself becoming? And each little micro action, from changing the setup in my desk to setting up the video camera instead of my computer's web camera, to figuring out all the technology behind it, every little micro action is getting me closer to that future version of myself. And this, my friend, is how we quantum leap. This is how we change our identity. This is how we change our future is by taking those micro actions that are of the future version of ourselves rather than who we are now. And the more that we entertain phrases like, I want to do that, but the more we stay exactly where we are. Okay. And this is like building trust in yourself. This is becoming impeccable with your word. And I say relationship with time or relationship with money because we want to have a respect for our time and our money, right? Time is energy. That's all it is. Time is our energy, and it expands or contracts based on how present we are. And that's why sometimes an hour goes super fast and sometimes an hour can drag, because it's really dependent on our energy and how we're showing up for something and how present we are. That perception of time shifts, because I truly feel like I have an abundance of time. Nobody says that in 2025. Everyone feels like they're rushing. Everyone is overwhelmed. And I'm over here just going slow as I want to. I don't even start my workday till 10 a.m. I do whatever I want between 8 and 10. I take my time in getting my everything set up. I feel like I have an abundance of time because I've really mastered that relationship, and I give my time. Time is my most valuable currency. Time I value even more than money. So my time gets my greatest amount of respect and energy and dedication to where I'm spending my time and what I'm putting my energy towards. And a lot of times we're just stuck in this loop of saying yes to things we don't really want to do, right? Or letting our calendar be our boss rather than us being the boss of our calendar. It's so different. So I just wanted to give you those golden nuggets today. And again, build that awareness muscle on, I want to do this, but, okay, we're going to stop saying that phrase and we're going to start asking ourselves better questions. We're going to ask ourselves the future version of me that is of the best and greatest good for myself and for all. How would she show up in this situation and what would she do differently? And you just might find some information there. And if you still don't end up doing the thing, that's totally okay. But a better version of you is one that will explore the possibility and have those conversations with yourself to navigate those relationships with time and money versus just the lack and the scarcity. And this is just a little bit at a time. And money is the same way. Money is also energy. Money is also a tool. And the more that we improve our relationship with money and our respect for it, the more the things around us will improve. Okay. Thank you. That's all I have for you today. Short and sweet episode. Hopefully you're going to build some awareness around your language patterns. I geek out over this stuff, so please tell me if this was helpful. Give us a comment below. Leave us a review on iTunes. That would be amazing. And of course, as usual, if you love this episode, share it with a friend, and we'll see you next week.